is time. It is time to brew your best beer.
The 2016 SJPorr Challenge is dedicated to your friend and ours, Paul Wickstein. Brought to you by Brewcraft USA, iMake, Gladfield Malting, Yakima Valley Hops, The Grain Bill, Brewers Exchange, Cake Kingdom Homebrew Supply, Hiraki Homebrew, and a special thanks to our silver sponsors.
Okay, so SJPorr Challenge 2016, US and Canada finals. This review is for, how you doing, by the way? Election day. What a better thing to do than review a beer. So it's 96Q-95F-56T. This is an English dark mild brewed with Colombian coffee and rye malt. Also fermented with 1968. Never used 1968, but I do like English beers, so excited about this one. So let's go ahead. Oh, here's a label. There you go. All right, excited about this one, so let's get into it. Good thing there's no tape on it. I didn't check in advance. All right, let's get a pour. Doesn't say whether it's bottle conditioned or not, so I'll be careful with it and stop it right there. A little bit of light sludge in the bottom. So, okay. First of all, it is dark, but it's also clear because I can see some real deep ruby through. I don't know if you can see that. Maybe a little bit. No. The head is not very big. It was about a half finger or less, a quarter of a finger when I poured it. Bubbles are kind of staying in the little kind of film on top. It was not going anywhere, but other than that, yeah, I mean, not a whole lot to the appearance on this one because, with dark beers, you can't really, see through them. I mean, this one, what you can do is, but looking at the ruby, I can tell that, it's pretty clear. It might have a little bit of chill haze, but you don't know because it's dark. Anyway, not much else to say about the appearance. Looks like a dark English beer. All right, let's go for the aroma. Get a little bit of the coffee, kind of a slight hint of the coffee. Not a whole lot. Like when somebody puts coffee in a beer, you really kind of hits you. This one's a little more subdued. Not getting any hops at all. They might be in there, and I just don't know what they are. And it didn't say online or on the label, if they, what kind of hops. But I would assume with a English beer, maybe they use some Fuggles or something just to kind of edge it off so it's not cloyingly sweet. But yeah, not too much to the aroma. Just does have that slight hint of coffee in it. So, all right, well, let's go ahead and go in for a taste. So, as soon as you take your first sip, then you kind of get a little bit of hint of the aroma. It hits a lot more. Yeah, a lot more of the coffee comes out. For me, though, it seems more like a porter to me. To me, it just tastes either like a kind of a dry stout or a porter. Doesn't really taste like a English. At least when I'm used to bitters. I don't know if it's supposed to taste like a bitter. I've never really had a dark mild, but You know, it reminds me of a kind of a real dry porter. So yeah, you get a lot of the coffee on this. Matter of fact, so much so that it begins to get a little bit of bitterness. The mouthfeel on this thing, it's kind of light to medium with a, you know, really good carbonation. But it's a light to medium. It's almost kind of a little bit on the dry side for me, personally. Normally with English beers and like darker beers, I like to get a little more sweetness to it. And I think that this one is missing just a bit of sweetness. The final gravity was 1012, so I'm surprised there's not actually more residual sweetness in it. This tastes closer to like a 1006 or 1005. It's a lot drier than a 1012. So, yeah, you know, it's a good beer. It's not and I don't taste any fermentation flaws or any brewing flaws or anything like that. I mean, the appearance was pretty good. The aroma was okay. The taste for me though is a little bit heavy on the bitterness side, and maybe that's just the coffee, or you know, I'm not really sure. It doesn't taste like astringency. It tastes more like the roast from the coffee. Not sure what dark malts they use in this. I'm assuming they use some pretty high SRM, but yeah, it's just a little bit on the dry kind of bitter side for me. But you know, it's a good session beer. I mean, I would, you know, you could at 4.2 ABV you could drink a couple of these, but again, just not necessarily the wow factor for me on this one. But anyway. Thanks to the brewer. Cheers for the submission. I'll go enjoy the rest of this and see who becomes president tonight. Cheers.